Next on the news. Hundreds walk across the Brooklyn Bridge this Good Friday, the procession commemorating the sacrifice of the Son of God.
Catholics follow the path of Christ's crucifixion on this day of mourning. I'm Katie Vasquez, and I'll have that story coming up.
Before his road to Calvary, a reminder of Jesus' Last Supper, the Holy Thursday service that connects clergy and laity with an act of love and humility. Plus, a baby shower supplies the necessities for many mothers in need. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. It's a reminder of his death before Catholics rejoice in his resurrection. The Diocese of Brooklyn joined hundreds of faithful in walking with Christ this Good Friday in a procession across the Brooklyn Bridge. Currents News' Katie Vasquez has that story.
Good Friday is the most solemn day of the year for Catholics as they remember Christ's crucifixion. Hundreds of faithful followed those footsteps, crossing the Brooklyn Bridge in a procession meant to mimic Jesus' final steps. They walk with purpose, crossing the Brooklyn Bridge in a procession that they feel brings them closer to the Son of God by reliving his sacrifice.
It's sort of a symbolic call of the heart to not only believe what he says, but also do what he did.
The morning started with prayer at the Cathedral Basilica of St. James. Brooklyn's Bishop Robert Brennan, New York's Cardinal Timothy Dolan, and the Greek Orthodox Church's Archbishop Elphidoros of America joining together for the Good Friday service.
We're working toward unity. This is something we've been working for centuries toward, and the celebration of the common date of Easter, the shared date of Easter, is a great sign of that, and we're walking with Christ on this journey.
Spencer Bell learned of the way of the cross from Bishop Brennan last week at a holy hour and knew it would open his heart more to Jesus.
What he went through to sacrifice himself for us as like a master, as a father figure, it's just inspirational, and we're able to look at him and be able to kind of give ourselves to others in the same way he did to us.
The quiet prayer as people walked more than a mile behind this cross, allowing the faithful to focus on the reason for the Easter season.
Silence is good on Good Friday. Que viva la cruz de Cristo. We adore thee, O Christ, and we praise thee because by thy holy cross thou hast redeemed the world.
When you take the time out of your day to focus on Christ and do these things, whether it be small or big like this, you run the risk, I'd say, of getting closer to him. And it's a beautiful risk because in the end, you change for the better.
Good Friday is the only day the church doesn't celebrate Mass because Catholics believe it is a day of mourning rather than joy. There are still services held, including a reading of the Gospel, veneration of the cross, and distribution of Holy Communion, but the Eucharist is never consecrated on Good Friday. At the Brooklyn Bridge, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
Before remembering Christ's crucifixion on Good Friday, Catholics recalled Jesus' Last Supper with his disciples on Holy Thursday. Bishop Robert Brennan washed the feet of 12 people, just like the Son of God, a show of love and humility for both clergy and laity. The Mass also remembers when Jesus changed bread and wine into his own body and blood, something Catholics celebrate at every Mass throughout the year. On Tuesday, Bishop Brennan spoke to all of the clergy of the diocese during the Chrism Mass, and you could hear that homily in full on the latest episode of his podcast, Big City Catholics. But before that, Bishop Brennan sent this message to the faithful.
Please know that as this podcast releases on Good Friday, we're in the midst of these most sacred of days. Know that you're in my prayers. Know that I ask God's blessing upon you. May these days be different for you and your loved ones. May they be days of great grace and hope.
To hear that full episode, just go to podcast.dioceseofbrooklyn.org. You can also search for Big City Catholics on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Be sure to stick with Net TV for full coverage of the Easter Triduum, one of the Catholic Church's most important masses. The Easter Vigil will be live on Net TV this Saturday at 8 p.m. On Easter Sunday, there will be 6 masses for the faithful to view: 9 a.m. Creole, 11 a.m. English, 1:30 p.m. Spanish, 4 p.m. Italian, 5 p.m. Polish, and 6 p.m. English. At that Easter vigil, hundreds of people will be baptized across the Diocese of Brooklyn. And before their big day, we are introducing you to some of them. You can tune into that Currents News special this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at 7, right here on Net TV. At the Vatican, Vice President J.D. Vance was sitting in the front row during a Good Friday service. The Catholic convert and his family attended the Liturgy of the Lord's Passion in St. Peter's Basilica. Vance will be visiting cultural and religious sites during his trip to Rome and meeting with the Vatican Secretary of State, Cardinal Pietro Parolin. No formal meeting has been scheduled with Pope Francis, though the pontiff has been making informal appearances during his recovery. People of faith in the Eternal City can remember Christ's crucifixion up close and personal. Rome holds many relics that can be linked back to Jesus' road to Calvary. Currents News' Jenna McDermott shows us some of them in this tour with some young university students.
Holy Week in Rome is a time of prayer and reflection, and a good time to visit the relics of Christ's Passion found in the Eternal City, such as the Basilica of the Holy Cross in Jerusalem.
It is very famous because they have very large relics of the true cross that St. Helena brought from Jerusalem. I also heard that the basilica was built in the Holy Land, meaning they brought soil from Jerusalem and built the basilica on top.
That is precisely what this group of young university students decided to do: get closer to Christ through his greatest sacrifice.
I think one of the most beautiful things you feel when you enter this church and see the relics is being able to experience the feeling of gratitude to the Lord, to say how much He loved us and everything He went through with serenity and complete love to save us.
It hurts me the way I see, like when they crucified Him, the way it was on the cross. That hurts me a lot, and I kind of say like I share the pain with Him. How it was painful to see this.
After this unforgettable stop, the group walked to another significant spot in Christ's Passion, the Holy Stairs. It is a place highly venerated by Catholics traveling to Rome. It is said that beneath the staircase ascended by the faithful are the 28 marble steps Jesus climbed in Pilate's palace to be judged before the Roman governor. In fact, on some of the steps, there is a glass window where you can see the blood of Christ immortalized on the marble. It is a must-see place during Holy Week, and one that captures the hearts of many who come here.
What impresses me the most is seeing people climbing on their knees, with great faith, I truly believe, from feeling what Jesus felt climbing those stairs. It was super exciting. Painful because climbing on your knees is difficult, because the timbers aren't even, but super exciting to know that Christ walked up there, that staircase. I recommend everyone to have that experience because it is truly super special and exciting.
Jenna McDermott, Currents News.
Back in the Diocese of Brooklyn, a Queens parish was living out the Passion of Christ.
Simon Peter.
This English and Spanish reenactment started in the pews of St. Joseph Church before heading out to the streets of Astoria. A choir leading the way as one parishioner playing the part of Jesus carried a cross and acted out Christ's road to Calvary, with others portraying the other important roles in the biblical story, like Mary and the women who wept at his crucifixion. After being nailed to the cross, the parishioners returned inside to pray. Finally tonight, a charitable organization is showering expectant mothers with love. The Don Bosco Columbiettes, the Ladies Auxiliary of the Knights of Columbus, hosted their 14th annual baby shower Wednesday. They collected toys, shoes, diapers, toiletries, a few car seats, and baby clothes, some crocheted by generous donors. The donations will be sent to the Bridge to Life in College Point, Queens, a nonprofit organization helping mothers with life-affirming services for more than 30 years. That is this Currents News update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. On behalf of the Currents Newsroom, we hope you have a happy Easter. And before we go, we want to take one final look at the Diocese of Brooklyn's Good Friday procession. Hope to see you again next time.
I do not know this man about whom you are talking. And immediately a cock crowed a second time.
They made a commitment to faith. Now these catechumens are counting down the days to the Easter Vigil, when they proudly join the ranks of Catholics and take their own place in the pews.
Right now, I feel God with me.
For some, the journey started on their own years ago.
I feel lighter, freer. It's one for my own personal journey and own personal relationship, but it's also to strengthen my family as well.
For others, it took a village and some guidance.
We wanted him to have a community, to feel comfortable, to have family.
But no matter what steps they took, it all leads to the same place, home.
Lord, hear our prayer.
This Saturday at 7, a Currents News special, Coming to Catholicism.